Welcome to the Spanish Now class. In today's class, we're going to talk about describing locations and landmarks. Okay? Aprender a describir locaciones en español. Okay, the objectives of this class will be to learn describe these places, landmarks, allocations in Spanish. The keywords. Let's jump into the vocabulary. Keywords, places, and landmarks. You will find that the square in Spanish will be called la plaza. The square, la plaza. And as you can see, the Z, it's called or it's pronounced as S in Spanish, okay? La plaza, smoothly. Not like Z. La plaza, no. La plaza, smoothly. The park, the park, el parque. The park, el parque. The church, la iglesia, la iglesia, la iglesia. Okay. And you will be asking, like, hey, how should I have to identify when it's el or la? Depends the context, okay? But as you can see, the la plaza, the word la plaza, it ends in a. So we, in most of the cases, not a general rule, but in most of the cases, if the word ends in a, you will have to also call it like la, 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 okay? La plaza. But if you will find that the word ends in e or o, you will add first the el, most of the cases, el parque, el museo, okay? El museo, el parque, okay? So that will be a little bit easy to identify. Okay, let's continue. The church, la iglesia, the museum, el museo, el museo. The building, el edificio. The building, el edificio. Again, if you will find the C or S, it has the Z, S, and C. In Spanish, it's a kind of similar sound always as S. Okay, el edificio, el edificio. And also remember, if you want to practice with me, just pause the video after I mention the word in Spanish. So you will also try to replicate the pronunciation and little by little start to build your own vocabulary and pronunciation. Okay, let's continue. The monument, the monument, el monumento, el monumento, the monument, el monumento. The station, la estación. The station, la estación. The bridge, el puente. The bridge, el puente. The tower, the tower. La torre, la torre. And here you will find, like, for example, as I mentioned it, it's not a rule that it always ends in that way. But for example, la torre, the word, the tower in Spanish, it ends in e or in e in Spanish, en español. So in this case, even that ends in e, we also add la torre, the tower. The market, el mercado. The market, el mercado. Okay, let's continue with the adjectives. Adjectives. Talking about, like, uh, to describe a place or a monument. Oh, that monument is viejo or antiguo, old. Antiguo or antigua, depends the case. Old, old. Oh, that monument is antiguo. El monumento es antiguo. For example, la torre, the tower, la torre, it's old, es antiguo or antigua. Modern, modern. Moderno or, depends the case, moderna. Moderno or moderna. Modern. Historic, histórico, histórica, historic. Histórico, histórica, historic. And as you can see, we have the accent in O. For that reason, I make the emphasize, strong emphasis, when I pronounce it in Spanish. For example, histórico, histórico, or Histórica. Histórica. Historic. Big. Grande. Big. Grande. For example, oh, the tower is big. Oh, la torre es grande. The tower is big. La torre es grande. But if I want to say like, oh, el parque es pequeño. The park is small. The park is small. El parque es pequeño. Or, depends the case, pequeña. Remember the ñ is a new word in, or not new, but you will find a new in the Spanish idiom or language. So pequeño or pequeña, ñe, the n with the symbol up, it's ñ, ñe, pequeño or pequeña. Okay, to describe that it's beautiful, beautiful, hermoso or hermosa. And once again, when you will find the H in Spanish, it don't pronounce any well, in most of the cases, again, it don't you will not pronounce it with some phonetical sound. Okay, hermoso. It's like not hermoso, no, hermoso, neutral again. Hermoso or hermosa, hermoso or hermosa. Famous, famous. Oh, famous, famoso or famosa, famoso or famosa, famoso, famosa, famous. Okay. And remember, if you want to practice with me, just pause the video and try to pronounce it after me. Okay. Repeat it after me. Let's continue. Now, talking about the prepositions of location. Prepositions of location. If I want to describe that place or that monument, it's near. Está cerca, cerca de, near to, cerca de, near. But if I want to mention that, oh, it's far from, está lejos de. The J, and I always mention this one, the J is smooth in Spanish. For example, when you talk about the Thursday, how it is Thursday in Spanish, jueves, jueves, lejos de, far from, lejos de, smoothly, lejos. If I want to mention, and that's kind of easy to identify in Spanish because you will use the same preposition, same word preposition for when you talk about like in, on, or at, en, in or on at, en. Okay, I will describe later about these ones because of course you have to use different, but in this example we use en. Okay, in, on, at, en. If I want to mention like, oh, it's next to, al lado de, al lado de, next to the tower, al lado de la torre, next to the tower, al lado de la torre. Okay, if I want to mention like, oh, it's front of, está, it's in front of, enfrente de, enfrente, enfrente de, in front of. To use behind, behind of, detrás de, behind of, detrás de. And if I want to mention that it's between, oh, entre, between, entre, entre, between. Remember, put your tongue in the middle of the teeth, the front teeth, so you will pronounce it entre, entre, between. If I want to say like, oh, it's on top of, sobre, on top of, sobre, on top of, sobre. Okay, to the right of, a la izquierda. Remember, left, right, izquierda, derecha. To the right of, a la derecha, de. Depends the monument, the place, the tower, whatever you want to mention, okay? A la derecha de. Or to the left of, a la izquierda de, a la izquierda de, to the left of, okay? Let's continue. Now, using the common phrases for describing locations. For example, if I want to say, and this one is the really common to ask, hey, where is? Hey, ¿dónde está? Where is? ¿Dónde está? ¿Dónde está? ¿Dónde? Where is? Está. Again, you will find the accent, so you have to say está with the accent, okay? The emphasize. And está cerca de, you can use this ones to ask too, like, oh, it is it near? Or está cerca de, to as a answer, oh, está cerca de, it is near to the tower. Está cerca de la torre. Okay. It is far from, it is far from, está lejos de, está lejos de. Remember, far, lejos, smooth, lejos, está lejos de. But if it is located next to, how would you have to say that in Spanish? It is located next to, se encuentra al lado de, se encuentra al lado de. If I want to say, it is a very famous place, it is a very famous place. Es un lugar muy famoso, very famous, muy famoso. Place, lugar. Es un lugar muy famoso. It is a very famous place. It is a modern or historic building. Es un edificio moderno, or, if I want to say historic, histórico, histórico. Es un edificio moderno, or I want to say like, oh, both. Y, remember, and in Spanish, you will use the word y, okay? Y. Es un edificio moderno, and es un edificio moderno y histórico. It is a modern and historic building. Es un edificio moderno y histórico. Okay, let's continue to the last one. It has a beautiful view. Oh, it has a beautiful view. Tiene una vista hermosa. Tiene, it has, the possessive verb. Tiene una vista hermosa. Tiene una vista hermosa. A beautiful view. Vista hermosa. Okay, let's continue. Grammar focus using ser and estar. Okay, the verb to be. But again, in the verb to be, you will find three categories in Spanish to use it. Okay, and this one is about to be, and like to exist, but also to be at the moment. Okay, or location describing. Okay, so ser to be in English is used to describe the characteristics of a place or a landmark. Ser. Okay, for example, you will find it like, oh, the church is old. To describe the church is old. Hey, la iglesia es antigua. Is, the church is old. La iglesia, how it is, it's, is antigua. La iglesia es antigua. But also you will find the other category to use the verb to be. Estar is used to describe the location of a place of a landmark. Okay, the first one was to talk about the describe the characteristics of a place of a landmark, but the second one is to describe the location of a place. Okay, the location of a place of a landmark. Example: el museo está cerca del parque. The museum is near to the park. Is near the park. The museum is near the park. El museo, where it is. Oh, it's near to park. El museo está cerca del parque. Okay. Again, in the verb to be, you will find three categories, and using these ones is basically to describe the locations or landmarks. Okay, depends the context. If you want to describe it using the ser, the verb to be, but if you want to describe it like, oh, it's there located, it will not move on. It always will be there, or hopefully always will be there. So use the second category that we talk about it in this case. Okay, let's continue. And I want to use these ones to describe your favorite landmark in your city. First of all, mention below the comments where are you located. I'm very curious to know about it, and use this as an exercise to describe like where it is located and how it is. Cómo es. How, cómo es. How it is. Okay. But also, as I'm very curious, I want to know like, hey, what do you like that landmark in your city? What's your favorite? Okay. ¿Por qué te gusta? What do you like? Okay. What do you like that favorite landmark in your city? Okay. You can use this in sample answer, basically using about these questions. Hey, my favorite landmark, el monumento, the monument, está en el centro de la ciudad. The monument is in the city center. El monumento está en el centro de la ciudad, okay? As you can see, we use the verb to be about to the location. Está en el centro de la ciudad. And then to describe it, it is historic and beautiful. Es histórico y hermoso. I like it because it has an amazing view. Me gusta, I like it because, porque tiene una vista increíble. It has an amazing view. Tiene una vista increíble. Me gusta porque tiene una vista increíble. Okay? Once again, I will read it the whole sentence in Spanish. El monumento está en el centro de la ciudad. Es histórico y hermoso. Me gusta porque tiene una vista increíble. Okay? What I said? The monument is in the city center. It is historic and beautiful. I like it because it has an amazing view. Okay? Let's continue with the overview or vocabulary review of this session. Okay? Remember, left the Spanish and right the English. How should I have to say to in Spanish to describe or mention the word the square? How it is the square in Spanish? La plaza. La plaza. The square, la plaza. The park, el parque. The park, el parque. And again, just to remind you, you can pause this video every single time I mention the word in Spanish. So you will repeat it after me and little by little start to speaking in Spanish and also listen yourself how to, first of all, listen to me when I speak it and try to reply it, okay? Or repeat it. Let's continue. The church, la iglesia. The church, la iglesia. The museum, the museum. El museo. The museum, el museo. The building, the building. El edificio, el edificio. The monument, the monument. El monumento, el monumento. The station, la estación, la estación. Okay. The bridge, the bridge. El puente, the bridge. The tower, the tower. La torre, la torre. Okay, la torre. And remember when we use the double R, it sounds like R. Okay, stronger. La torre, la torre, the tower. The market, el mercado. The market, el mercado. If I want to describe it like, oh, it's near. Está cerca. Cerca of what? Cerca de. Near to. Cerca de. But if it's far from, está lejos de. Lejos. Lejos. Okay, smoothly. Lejos de. Next to. Oh, al lado de. Next to. Al lado de. Next to the bridge. Al lado del puente. Al lado del puente. Next to the bridge. But if I want to say that oh, it's beautiful, the bridge is beautiful. El puente es hermoso. El puente es hermoso. But if I want to say, oh, la torre, the tower, la torre es hermosa. Hermosa. Okay. Remember the H in Spanish, it don't have, and in most of the cases, it don't have any sound. So we just read it directly like hermoso. Okay, not hermoso, hermoso, neutral. Modern, modern, moderno, moderno, or moderna, moderna. Okay, if I want to say that, oh, it's old, es antiguo. But I forgot to mention this one. You can also mention in Spanish like antiguo directly translated to antique, antique. Okay, you can use both. Old, it's like viejo, the direct translation. But I want to use this one so little by little you will speak with the kind of, you know, not in a common way. A little bit like, oh, improving. Okay, for that reason I added antiguo, but it's antique in the direct translation. Okay, I forget to mention. If I want to say like, oh, it's famous, famoso, famous, famoso, or famosa, famous, famoso, or famosa. Okay, so this is the vocabulary review about the lesson. And once again, if you have some questions, feel free to comment below in the comment section about like, hey, I would love to know more about this type of vocabulary. I want to know more differences to describe of vocabulary. So always free, always happy to help you in the comment sections. And feel free to do that, okay? To comment below, okay? Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you like this video.